All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Pokemon, and yes, it's true, that title is not clickbait. The second one-of-one Mothman has been pulled from Topps Chrome. We don't know right now if it was from a blaster or a hobby box, but it was the original Topps Series 0 artworks. You guys saw just last night, the alt art Mothman was pulled by a guy named Emilio, and today it's apparently a guy named Mateo. So this was pulled in Texas. His Instagram handle is The Real Metazoo, and this is confirmed. He did pull it. They've tagged the Bailey guy from Live Poke Auctions, who is the guy that made the $31,000 offer on the Mothman last night. Now, what we do know is that that was a legitimate offer for the first Mothman. Now, what we think is that there's three one-of-one Mothmans. This one that was pulled just now, the one that was pulled last night, and the Cryptid Cam variation should also come in a one-of-one, so that should only be an alternate art Cryptid Cam. So I would think that that $31,000 offer would apply to each of the three Mothmen. Now, I guess if you look at his original post, he did not specify that he would pay $31,000 for each. He really just says that he's going to make an offer on the other two. But honestly, I think that the original art Mothman that was just pulled is the most beautiful of the two that have been pulled. And I think, honestly, it just looks to be the more desirable one. Because really, it's kind of weird when you get into this territory where there's three one-of-ones of the same beastie. Two of those one-of-ones are of the same artwork. And one of them is one original artwork that's not on the Cryptid Cam. So that original first sighting Mothman art, that will not be available in a Cryptid Cam one-of-one. So that, to me, is the more rare artwork of the three, because there's two of the alternate arts in the one-of-one. But at the same time, there is that numbered out of 99 first sighting Mothman from the first Topps release with that artwork. But that's not as good as a one-of-one. So honestly, I would think that if the guy paid $31,000, this Bailey guy, if he would pay $31,000 for the alt art Mothman, I would think this would be the more valuable of the two Mothmen and worth at least $31,000. Honestly, I would really like to see one of these go for auction and see how high it goes. But I feel like these guys that are pulling these cards, I already saw them tagging, or it wasn't the guy that pulled it, but I already saw them tagging the Bailey guy in the post of this pull. And honestly, I would like to see someone just have the guts to put this up at auction and see how high it goes. Because I think it could go for more. I think it could go for north of $50,000. But I know it's hard to not just take the quick $31,000 check, which is probably just sent instantly via PayPal. No risk, nothing to worry about. I get it. I would probably do it too. But I would like to see someone take the risk, put it up for auction, and let the market decide what the card is worth. And I think people would be surprised. We've heard several people say they're willing to pay $10,000, so we know that it would go beyond that. I think it would get up to $30,000 and go beyond that. I think there's probably more than a handful of people, or more than just Bailey, that would pay that much. And I think it would go probably around 50. I will be honest, I think it's a little bit odd, the proximity of this one being pulled and the one being pulled last night. Topps Chrome has been out for how many weeks now? And the one-of-one Mothman was pulled, both of them, within 24 hours of each other. I think that's odd that all this time has passed. All these one-of-ones have been pulled over the past few weeks, and just now, both artworks have been pulled. It just seems kind of weird to me. I don't know why I think it's weird or what my speculation would be, but it just seems odd that within 24 hours, both Mothmen would be pulled. But now, the hunt is on for the last remaining of the three. The Cryptid Cam one-of-one alt art Mothman, the last of the three. The only Mothman that's still out there in the one-of-one superfractor variation. Honestly, I will say, though, with both these artworks, I got them up on screen right now, there wasn't a lot of gold superfractor foil, because there's a lot of, like on the original art, there's a lot of red and there's a lot of background. And the one thing that I really liked about my Babe the Blue Ox one-of-one is there's a ton of gold superfractor foil on the card. It's just the Babe image. Very little background and a lot of that gold coin foil superfractor backdrop. With these Mothmen, it's really not a lot. It's just kind of the border of the card. And I honestly think that's why the Cryptid Cams have been selling for less, the one-of-ones, because there's only that small window within the Cryptid Cam card where that superfractor foil pattern is visible, and I think people want it to be visible as much as possible. So I thought that was interesting with these two Mothman, but honestly, my preference would be the original art Mothman. I think it looks a lot better. But now the hunt is on, and I think it'll be interesting to see what the Topps Chrome market does when that final Cryptid Cam Mothman has been pulled, that 1 of 1. Is it going to tank? Is it going to stay steady? Is it going to stay stable? Are people still going to buy it just for the fun of opening it now that these big bounty chases are out? Will Steve Aoki make an appearance? I think it's odd. It doesn't really sit right with me, this whole Steve Aoki thing. Did he really even make this bounty offer to begin with? It seemed like it was a pretty legit thing. Everybody was saying he did. People said on stream, on his behalf, this offer was made by someone that represents him. It was on the official Metazoo HQ, on their description of the Topps Chrome set, this bounty. But now it seems like he's nowhere to be seen. We haven't heard anything else about this Steve Aoki $30,000 offer. And when that first Mothman was pulled, we hear nothing from him. And then we saw that Argos video where it seemed like Argos knows that the person that made the offer on Aoki's behalf retracted it or whatever, and now there's this Bailey guy buying it for $31,000, which obviously is just to be $1,000 more than the Steve Aoki bounty. It's weird. I think that whole thing is very weird to me. It could have been just a marketing ploy. I saw people saying that in the comments of the previous video, which I could definitely see the incentive of doing that. It puts a lot of hype behind the set, but not following through I think is a little bit weird. But again, I think it raises the question, did he ever actually make the offer or give the green light for someone to make the offer on his behalf? I think that whole thing is a little bit odd. And then, they were saying that, like, well, maybe Steve didn't know that there was going to be 3 of the 1 of 1 Mothman. So the $30,000 offer didn't stand anymore because of that. And again, I find it hard to believe that a guy that is a part owner of Metazoo wouldn't have known the ins and outs of what's going to be in the Topps Chrome set, which has been really the biggest release of the year. I think he would have known there would have been 3 1 of 1s for the Mothman. So I don't really buy that story either. So look, it'll be interesting to see what this card goes for. Like I said, it seems like everybody's already tagging this Bailey guy. Will he pay $31,000 for this one too? I don't know. Honestly, I think if that's what he paid for the other card, he should, because just off that kind of loose logic, there's 2 versions of the other card in a 1 of 1. There's only 1 version of this card in a 1 of 1. This one is more rare. In my opinion, this one is more aesthetically pleasing. This one is more just beautiful to look at. I think this one is worth more just off the optics alone, but also when you consider the fact that there will be a Cryptid Cam version of the Alt Art 1 of 1. This one seems to be the more rare of the 2. So I think this one, I would love to see it go to auction. That would be my opinion. I think they should put this, maybe not on eBay, maybe do golden auctions, maybe do PWCC, whatever. But I would really like to see how high this card could go, because I think there could be buyers all over the world that would be interested in this card, and I think it could go very, very north of $30,000. I think probably around 50 would be a more reasonable range. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you still going to be buying Topps Chrome? I'm going to be opening a bunch this weekend. We've got, between me and Chris, we've got 50-something blasters to open. We've got 5 or 6 booster boxes of native between the 2 of us to open, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe. We're gonna have a pretty big live stream, I think, tomorrow night. So like and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Nick Strength and Pokemon signing out.